Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stephen Flanagan, Senior Vice President here at CSIS and holder of the Henry Kissinger Chair, and it's a pleasure to welcome you this afternoon to our discussion of a regional approach to regional problems, the prospects for cooperation between the OSCE and CICA. So we have, time is rather limited for these panels, so I'm going to move rather quickly, and I'll introduce our speakers in just a moment. But just a word for those of you in Washington who aren't as familiar with CICA as you are with OSCE, and as a way to open our discussion. The CICA, the Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, is an organization that works to advance peace, security, and stability by building cooperation among its member states, which include Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, China, Egypt, India, Israel, Iraq, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, Pakistan, Palestine, Republic of Korea, Tunisia, Tajikistan, Thailand, Turkey, UAE, Uzbekistan, Vietnam. So it's quite a ranging, as you can see, a broad-ranging group throughout Central and Southwest Asia and into East Asia. So achieving such peace and security is CSCI's commitment, and encouraging also trade and economic cooperation among its members, undertaking other aspects of cooperation in combating illicit drug production, eliminating, combating terrorism, collaboration on environmental issues, a whole range of other questions. So in many ways approaching and similar to the various baskets, if you know, those of you familiar with OSCE recall, of the economic, the security, and the political and human baskets of OSCE, and of course the Republic of Turkey, which has been very gracious in sponsoring some of this event, and particularly the reception this evening, is the chair, and we have Ambassador Tan with us as our first speaker of the program. Secondly, of course, the OSCE remaining perhaps much better known here in Washington as an organization which has existed really as the conscience of Europe for almost over 3 decades now, enabling its 56 member countries from Europe, Central Asia, and North America to discuss a wide range of issues in the security and economic and political and human dimensions, and also aspects of democracy promotion, and increasingly playing a more active and operational role, certainly over the last 20 years, in safeguarding democratic developments and trying to promote peaceful resolution of disputes and aspects of conflict prevention through its various missions. So, just as a reminder of these two organizations and what are the prospects of cooperation, we're delighted to have 3 very senior and experienced diplomats today with us to discuss this as an opening bid of this agenda, which you have before you. First of all, to my immediate left, Ambassador Namık Tan, Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey to the United States, who has held this position, of course, since just about celebrating his first anniversary. A difficult year it's been, but he's done so remarkably well as in previous tours here, and of course he was previously ambassador to Israel before this most recent assignment, and also a number of other positions and postings both overseas and in Ankara. And you have his bio in your description. So as the current chair of the CICA, we were going to start with Ambassador Tan, then turn to Ambassador, then the former and the current chair of the OSCE, chair in office of the OSCE country. So we'll first hear from the outgoing chair, the last year's chair, Kazakhstan, with Ambassador Idrisov speaking in that capacity. He has served here as ambassador since July of 2007, having previously served also as ambassador to a number of countries in Europe, including the United Kingdom, Sweden, and Norway, and a number of other senior positions in his ministry. And last but not least, we're very pleased that representing the current chair in office, the Deputy Chief of Mission, Mr. Simonas Satunas of Lithuania, is here today to speak on some of their thinking about this issue as representing the current chair in office. He has served here since July of last summer, having previously been also involved in the State Department as a special advisor on OSCE issues, and serving as an advisor to President Adamkus back in Vilnius. So we're very pleased. We don't have much time, but I'll turn the floor over to Ambassador Tan. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate all your remarks about Turkey's efforts, but I believe we should first acknowledge and thank you warmly about the support of CICA to our efforts to make this organization, which we think, critically important in terms of the security issues in Central Asia, to be known to American audiences. I believe we, for the second time, our efforts were responded positively by our friends in CSIS, and you are leading those efforts, and I want to thank you, first of all, in your person, and to the institution as well, and to our dear friend Bülent Aliriza, Dr. Aliriza. I believe he's somewhere here, but anyway, he has given us a lot of support, and we appreciate his contributions. And also, I want to thank to my colleagues and my dear friend Erlan, and our dear friend from the present chair. Of course, this issue, as you all know, is going to be, as the efforts of Turkey is concerned, I think here in this town, many of our colleagues from different agencies do have a little knowledge of what CICA has been doing, and this, I think, panel discussion, I hope, will help and offer a sort of a medium for our distinguished friends, just audience, to get to know what CICA is trying to achieve. Of course, there will be high-level competent representatives, both from the capitals of OSCE and CICA chairmanships, as well as the secretariats of the two organizations and the State Department and other specialists to speak on particulars of this cooperation. Therefore, I will limit my remarks to generic policy lines with a view to offering some ideas for thought. These are by no means conventional. Since we are in early stages of the OSCE-CICA concepts, I will thus attempt to tease our thoughts your thoughts to encourage discussions in this forthcoming panels. And ladies and gentlemen, Turkey assumed, as you all know, CICA chair for 2 years during the third CICA summit in Istanbul last summer. Our term focuses on how indivisible and cooperative security in Asia can be established, primarily, of course, through dialogue. In doing so, I think we would like to expand our experiences in UN, OSCE, EU, and NATO to the CICA area. Another focus is to establish wider awareness and thus visibility to a newborn international organization with ambitious tasks and challenges. This event will hopefully serve addressing this objective as well. CICA is a new actor in the long row of international organizations molding member nations from across a diverse and vast area. Profiles of its members are indeed diverse on a multitude of variables. We have China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Iran, Israel, Iraq on board under the same roof. At first glance, it might seem difficult to align these nations in common objectives. Bringing together these members, however, is an achievement in itself. CICA provides a more flexible framework for to work on specific cooperation schemes among its members. Across the board, there are common issues with shared objectives and concerns. Afghanistan offers a good example in this regard. Drug trafficking is yet another concern for all members, which I believe is an issue that we can easily find cooperation frames. Moreover, there is considerable background work, achievement and success stories about OSCE that the OSCE has built through its history. That will in turn be useful for a new, larger geography represented by CICA. CICA is a young but vibrant and dynamic organization with 23 members. Iraq and Vietnam joined the body of nations as most recent members during the Istanbul summit. Once interested in the observer status, Cambodia's full membership is most recently approved on February 28. Bahrain and Philippines, on the other hand, gained observer status in October last year. CICA opens a window of opportunity with huge potential. It is up to the members to make use of it. This event will enable us to dig into those possibilities and the potential as to how we can utilize CICA in addressing the challenges of our times in a vast basin. In other words, we have embarked on a quest to find viable ways to CICA and OSCE to cooperate, exchange best practices and know-how that would be beneficial for CICA area and its nations. And just to conclude, I would like to thank CSIS again for all its support, and I would like to thank also all you all for attending this this event and listening to me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Ambassador Tan. Ambassador Idrisov, as the bridge between OSCE and CICA, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me the bridge role of Kazakhstan. Let me first of all join Ambassador Tan in thanking you, Dr. Flanagan, and our friends in CSIS for attracting attention to CICA once again. I remember about half a year ago we had an event here, and we had an initial discussion on CICA, what it is and how you have to eat it, what it is about. And I'm very glad to be here today at another event where we have quite a powerful panel of experts. One can see on the program that we have quite a representative team of those who deal specifically with CICA issues in Kazakhstan, in Turkey, and other places. Today's topic for the event is quite symbolical. It's about CICA and OSCE, how they can bridge with each other. You know that Kazakhstan, by its geography, is or its geography has helped Kazakhstan to define its foreign policy priorities. We usually say that we are in the heart of Eurasia. We look to four winds of the world, and one leg is in Asia and another leg is in Europe. last year we had an excellent experience of our European taste, chairing the OSCE as the one of the key security organizations in Europe. But back in 1992, in early 90s, we came up with this CICA idea, understanding that Asia as a huge part of the world deserves some institutions which will address the issues of common concern. Security, cooperation, partnership in different areas were in our minds, and with this we came as an idea to build a partnership within Asia. Of course, we looked around and we saw Europe as an example of how countries can come together and work together on a host of issues, and we offered this to our Asian partners. Earlier on, of course, that was met with some skepticism. Let me be frank with you. A young nation coming out of a black space called USSR comes with an idea of building a unified Asia. That was, of course, taken with a polite diplomatic interest. Let me put it like that. But we persevered and we built our efforts. We tried to bring experience of other institutions, other players, and as Ambassador Tan has told you, CICA is gaining a momentum. If you think of CICA in statistical terms, it is quite impressive. CICA is membership of CICA, which is 21. I understand now it's 22, right? With Cambodia joining, constitutes 90% of Asia's territory. 90%. CICA constitutes half of the of the world's population. CICA's economy combined, CICA countries' economy combined, also gives you quite a handsome figure, if you take into account particularly the Chinese growing role in global affairs. Therefore, the role of CICA is increasing, and with the world globalizing more and more, there is a persistent need for different regional organizations to come together. This is being called upon from a legalistic point of view by the UN Charter. There is a respective article in the Charter which calls for the regional cooperation and integration, and with this in mind we came up with the idea of CICA and tried to persevere with that. Building the membership, the first initial group comprised less than 10 members, but we were very happy and very proud to get the support of big Asian nations like China, India. Russia was part of this global effort, and slowly and slowly CICA has come into being and is coming of age, as you would say. We had 3 summits. During the last 3rd summit, Turkey has graciously and in a brotherly manner has supported Kazakhstan and has taken the chairmanship in its very efficient hands. And we continue to work with, as the outgone or previous chair, with Turkey to build awareness of CICA and offer it as a very efficient and promising platform for making our world a better place to live. Of course, one cannot say that CICA is just a replica of OSCE. It cannot be such, because the nature of security issues in Europe are a bit different, you understand, as compared to the nature of security issues in Asia. Europe as a geographic place is a bit different than Asia, but what we observe is that there are definitely lots of issues which cross the borders and constitute common concern. And one can easily also try to apply the three-basket approach of CICA, of OSCE, sorry, to CICA. And actually, in its practical dealings, CICA has started to go along the same way of thinking as people do in other regional structures. CICA came up with a number of new ideas. For example, the idea of the CBMs was expanded uniquely, and the catalog of CBM measures in CICA, which is a unique document in my understanding, will bring you such novelties like CBMs in cultural areas, for example, cultural cooperation area, or CBMs in the economic cooperation area, trade and economy. These are new things, even if it is applied to OSCE. It is quite important that US, we see some signs that the United States also tries to better understand what CICA is. And we encourage this, and this event which we have in CSS is a good example of this, and is a good tool to promote further the interest of the United States towards CICA. We know the global role of the United States, and we understand why CICA was on the periphery of US foreign policy interests. As a global power, of course, US has a host of priorities in foreign policy, but with its spreading interests in Middle East, in Asia, in South Asia, where you see that the United States wants to support the regional cooperation in South Asia through enhancing the cooperation organization of South Asian countries, or ASEAN, or US efforts in Afghanistan. And on the other hand, and when you look at CICA on the other hand, and you see there Israel and Palestine sitting together in one organization, Pakistan and India being founding members of the CICA, Afghanistan and Iran being the founding members of CICA, and lastly, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, the countries which face a lot of challenges at the moment in their growth. You will understand that CICA can constitute an important platform for promoting common interests in foreign policy area in international relations. Therefore, we would welcome the opportunity, or we would welcome the growing efforts by the United States, not only in trying to understand what CICA is, but viewing it as an important and useful instrument, common instrument in promoting the issues of common concern. OSCE is an important tool. Last year, when we had the OSCE, the CICA summit in Istanbul, the first institutional effort was made through two chairs' effort, Turkey and Kazakhstan. We put together a sideline event during the summit, OSCE-CICA discussion panel. That was a very useful effort. We have identified the areas where both organizations can cooperate with each other. And with our fresh memories of OSCE chairmanship, where we came with 4 T's mottos, transparency, tolerance, trust, and tradition, I think these 4 T's can be easily applied and efficiently applied to what we try to do within CICA. Therefore, I would like to highlight the importance of involving major global actors in CICA efforts. Asia is becoming a very important part of the world. Everyone tries to be visible now in Asia Pacific, and to be visible in what's going on in Asia. And Kazakhstan is very proud, being a Eurasian country, to be right in the center of 2 big continents, and we'll be absolutely happy to continue to play our bridging role. We are always happy to offer our experiences in OSCE chairmanship to bring some value to what we try to do in CICA. Let me remind you also that this year Kazakhstan is the chair of OIC, Organization of Islamic Conference. We will also try to use our potential and our experience in bringing common priorities to the agenda and practical operations activities of OIC. And with this panel, I think we have to continue to stir the interest, because when you stir something, definitely some practical results are to come by. And I would like to thank all the participants who come from the capitals. We have our Special Envoy, Ambassador at Large for CICA issues, Ambassador Bakishev. I recognize my old friend, Ambassador of Turkey in Kazakhstan. He is now Ambassador, Executive Secretary of the CICA Secretariat, Ambassador Aldemir, and many other friends. And I'm very happy to be part of your discussion, of course, and I'm open to any questions you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, before we may have time for a few questions, but let me now turn to Mr. Simonas, representing the current CIO.
Many thanks. So first of all, thank you, CSAS, for permanent and continuous attention to OSCE and to regional security and cooperation. Many thanks to Ambassador Tan and Ambassador Idrisov for this event and for your countries, which are both members of OSCE and CICA, and you are playing a prominent role in both organizations, and especially last year was a year of the region. It's very interesting to hear the growing numbers of the members in CICA and the impressive numbers of the people living in the region. That's why we, like Lithuania, like OSCE current chair, we really attach a special importance towards enhancing the OSCE's cooperative approach and outreach to regional and sub-regional organizations. That was said many times by our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Zhubalis, and just to highlight that even last year in Istanbul, in a ministerial meeting of the Security and Economic Cooperation in Eurasia, he mentioned CICA being as a partner with strong vision and capabilities. So this brings us a solid ground and possibilities for cooperation. And we, like Lithuanian OSCE chairmanship, we have certain priorities. I'm sure that you have heard about them, but just to remind them, and I think that many of them are bringing good possibilities for us to lay good ground for cooperation among CICA and OSCE. And one of our priorities is the regional stability and protracted conflicts. So we understand that this is a good area for both organizations to at least exchange the understanding how the protracted conflicts might be dealt. Discussions is important. We also believe that the issue of conventional arms control and confidence building and security, what Ambassador Idrisov was referring to, is also very important and is a good area for cooperation. We still believe that the undergoing negotiations and talks about the CFE treaty and about the Vienna document of 1999 is very important this year, and we expect that some progress might be done this year. So another very concrete area where we think it's a good area for cooperation, it is transnational threats, which we all were talking about, and this is thinking about the follow-up of Astana summit. We really attach, like a chairmanship, a special attention to the transnational threats, and we believe that we could really strengthen coordination among OSCE structures and other organizations to make maybe our mandates more operative and more constructive, especially, let's say, implementation in the concrete projects on the, let's say, border security or border management or transport. So we will also seek close consultations and cooperations with the non-OSCE partners on various transnational threats issues, which, like we all know, mostly originate outside of OSCE area. And the discussion on the Afghanistan and concrete projects around Afghanistan is really a very good area, an important area for both organizations to cooperate. That's why Lithuania will be making, like OSCE chair, some events and consultation and seminars on the, let's say, enhancing the cooperation on combating drug trafficking and how we have better to work on the border controls, not to impede the flow of goods, but to increase the transparency and cooperation fighting the drug trafficking. Well, just jumping, we understand that security in current world is really multidimensional, and like OSCE itself is looking at the security from all angles, from the comprehensive point of view, and not only conflict prevention and promotion, but promotion of human rights and fundamental freedoms is important. And another area where Lithuania is going to concentrate, and is already concentrating, is about the media freedom and safety of journalists. So that's why we still free a lot. We can see a lot of threats and violence against media workers. So we, like a chairmanship, will be making a big conference devoted to discuss the safety of journalists, which will be held in Vilnius. And we believe that this is the area where politicians, media people, and from both organizations might exchange their views. Jumping from to other dimensions, what Ambassador Idrisov was referring, that we can find really a lot of areas in every OSCE dimension for cooperation. So let's say economic dimension. It's really creation of the more safe and more efficient transport corridors, especially in the region. So this is a very good opportunity for us all. Exchange of the best practices, we would say it's the best what we can look from our cooperation. Then let's say energy security is another important issue where Lithuania, like OSCE chair, are putting a lot of emphasis on this. And we believe that discussion on reliability and sustainability of the supply of energy resources, especially in this world and especially now, is very important. So these just, I would say, couple highlights where we understand, where we can see for better cooperations and opportunities for both organizations. Just to conclude, we really appreciate that the Executive Director of CICA Security, Ambassador Demir, is today with us. Thank you so much for traveling a long way. And we are really grateful that, Ambassador, you have you have agreed to take part in one of the PC's Permanent Council sessions this year. Lithuania has invited you to share your ideas as well, so it's, I think, another very good opportunity. And just concluding, Chairman Ažubalis, the Foreign Minister of Lithuania, really thanks Kazakhstan and Turkey inviting him last year in the CICA summit when we were part of OSCE Troika, where we really cooperated well with Kazakhstan especially. So we believe that this is just the first invitation, but we hope that we could go on cooperating with CICA and looking for opportunities in very concrete areas. So once again, thank you so much. This was a brief highlights of our Lithuania's OSCE chairmanship. Recently, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is the chair of OSCE, he was recently in this capital. I could say that he and OSCE got really substantial attention to what we're trying to do. And I think that we need just to continue to cooperate with CICA as well. So regional cooperation is on the Lithuania's chairmanship priorities with very concrete proposals. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Satunis, and thank you all for, I think, giving us a good outline of some of the issues that will be explored in the subsequent panels. We started a little bit late, but my colleague, Bülent Alireza, said we could maybe have time for just a couple of quick questions if you have them, but we really do need to move to the other panel, the first panel, the second full panel. Are there any questions from the floor, though, or before we proceed to ask the our diplomatic panel? Our other panels will have a mix of experts and diplomats, but this is the view from the key governments involved. Okay. Well, if there aren't, I want to just thank the panel, as I said, for giving us a good overview of these key issues that will now be explored in the next few sessions. And on behalf of our president, John Hamre, who regrets he couldn't be here with you, we wish you a successful conference and look forward to hearing the results. Thank you. Thank you. So if you join me in thanking also the three ambassadors and the three diplomats for joining us today. So.